think is important um, for everybody to hear. You know, people look at cybersecurity as an expense. I mean, I think that has to shift, right? I think they have to look at it as a return on investment from this perspective. Your trading partners don't want to know that your employees have no idea about what a social engineering email looks like, right? Because you're putting your trading partners and supply chain at risk if you're not paying attention to cybersecurity. So at some point, that's going to impact your revenue because you're not going to be able to do business with people if you don't meet certain standards. And that's the case with many business relationships currently, but it's not all of them. And the percentages are probably a little bit lower than I'd like to see them. But where we are seeing changes rather rapidly, and I guess things typically start this way, right? Because it takes a lot more resources for businesses to manage supply chains and create a kind of a whole supply chain management ecosystem where it's a lot easier to have legal say, okay, you need to have this type of insurance. So that's where it's starting. And this type of insurance now is regularly including cyber insurance. Now, that's typically the liability portion of the cyber coverage, the network security liability coverage, sometimes the privacy liability coverage. But some contractual asks are including first party coverage. So why would you do that? Well, it's pretty simple. You want your supply chain to exist. If your business partners don't have first party cyber coverage and they're hit by an event, they just disappeared, right? So that impacts your supply chain rather dramatically. If you have 3 or 4 suppliers and one of them goes away, that's a problem. If you have 2 suppliers or one, it's even a bigger problem. So that's why the whole suite of cyber coverages in stronger contracts are written into those contracts as a requirement, right? And we're not seeing this, we're not seeing these limits go down either. As people become more aware of the severity of cyber events, it's becoming one of the higher liability coverage numbers in these contracts. It used to be $1 million general liability, $5 million umbrella. Now, right off the bat, you're also seeing $5 million of cyber insurance. And in some instances, maybe that's overkill and there's some negotiating leverage. But the bottom line is businesses need strong cybersecurity, which you guys will do right off the bat. And then they need to back that up with a policy because, one, it will help them stay in business and address an event. And 2, it's going to impact their revenue at some point when they can't maintain a client relationship or a vendor relationship because they don't have the coverage.